Welcome back to this week's video, guys. We got quite a bit of things that are happening in the market. First, you guys heard on Friday, Trump announced the tariffs on a few more countries, including Canada. So market did react to that, and we might see a gap. Futures haven't opened yet for another 45 minutes or so. So we'll go over those charts as well. But the most important thing is we do have CPI that is going to be coming out. The numbers come out Tuesday morning. And then Wednesday we have PPI. And then Thursday, the initial jobless claims. Nothing much on Friday. We do have a couple things and they drop a pre-market as well. And then the next thing is pretty important is we have earnings season starting, and Netflix is the major one. That's going to be this Thursday. So we'll be watching that. So let's get started. Few things that I am watching. Do have my list ready, and then we will also go over, there were a couple requests in the room, so I will review those as well. So let's start with SPY first. So the same levels from last video, nothing much has changed. We are pretty much in that same zone. What we want to see, if we do see a pullback, our ideal scenario is to see if we are holding 620. If we start to lose 620, then I am watching all the way down to 618 area, and then 616 to 615 zone. If we fill this and then bounce back, we still have targets to the upside that could potentially market to keep going. However, if we start to lose below 611.28 area, then I am going to be very cautious of going long on anything. Then we are having a trend change. So then once we lose that 611.28 area, then let's see if we can fill this gap, and then we have a gap to the downside of it. So we'll play level to level as we see the price action happen. So now let's go through some of our charts. So let's start with ES first, and then I'll come back to the tickers. I'm actually going to go down to the 30-minute. Let's do 1 hour. Okay. So on 1 hour, if we look, depending on where after hours today we open up, as long as we are able to hold or stay above 6260 to 6280 area, the bounce could be decent to move back up and then recapture the 6300 area. However, if we do start to lose 6265, and then we are looking in our 6253 to 6250 area, and if that is losing, and then we are going down to our 6220 zone, and then we do have this area interest, which is the 6200 level as well. It could come very quickly if market does start to sell off. However, we'll go level by level to see what market does. Let's quickly look at NQ as well before we get into our charts. Again, we closed around 22,959 area. So let's see if we are gonna pull back into the 22,900, or are we gonna sweep this low, which was 22,838, or somewhere in the 22,800 level, if we can get a bounce and break above this trend line to continue to the upside. So we'll see what the open happens, and especially first for it to lose 22,880. If it does, then we are gonna be targeting somewhere in this zone right here. Okay, so now let's quickly look at the main names before I jump into the list that I have for this week. So let's look at Apple. I'm gonna go on to my daily chart. So on Apple, we are kind of stuck in between this 208 to 215 area. So I do like this higher low that we did print. So as long as we don't lose 208, and if we continue and break out of 215, I'm still targeting, I think Apple has a little bit more room to the upside, especially to fill this gap into the 220 to 221 area. However, if we do start to lose 208, then I am looking for this imbalance to first get filled in up to 205 area, and then down into the 200 and 201. So that's the watch on on our Apple. And then AMD, we are in a supply zone, but we do have this, the name does have a little bit more room that it could continue to the upside. 150, I wouldn't mind wicking all the way to 155 area and then pull back. However, if it does start to lose 139.80, then I am looking for it to pull back all the way to 130 to 132 area as well. Okay. Amazon, I'm actually bullish on this name. This is, as most of you know, in our live trading, I think if I go back and I review my journal in the morning, my losses on scalping or day trading are the highest on Amazon. So I try to stay away from it in the morning as much as possible now, just because I feel like maybe I just don't have the grasp of the price action on Amazon. And that's okay. And I'm not going to fight anymore with it. But I think for a swing or even a full day trade, as long as I'm not scalping with the shorter expiration, I'm buying time on it. I'm looking for a swing for it to fill this tiny gap that we have above here. And I think this one definitely has a room to continue as long as we hold 225 or even the bounce anywhere between 218 to 220. It does have a room to continue to move higher and make an all-time high as well. So that's what I am watching on Amazon. Coin was requested. So coin is also in a supply zone. However, this zone has a room. So I think a coin can easily see 400. And if we start to break out of 400, your next target is 407. And then 420 area would be the top of our supply zone. So I would not mind, especially with Bitcoin doing pretty well, we could see this continue move higher on coin. And let's see. Google, finally it paid us on Friday. This was another name that kind of was a struggle for it to keep going. So let's see if we can break 180. Our target is 184.78, and then it does have a room to 190. So we'll see. This one also has a gap to the upside. So again, a pullback in the market would be healthy for us to continue and making new highs on some of these names that are lagging behind. So Google has this whole gap to fill to the upside, but ideally I want to see it cross above 180 and then continue to the upside on it. Okay, so that's what we are watching on Google. I'm gonna go through. We'll look at Netflix, especially because of the earnings coming up. As long as Netflix holds above 1210, this does have a room back up to 1300 to 1350, especially with the earnings. And we know that Netflix can run on earnings anywhere between 40 to 70 bucks easily. Okay, however, if we are starting to lose the 1200 area, I am gonna be watching. If that happens before the earnings and we hold above 1180 1179 area, I would not mind seeing Netflix hold this and then continue to the upside. However, if we start to lose this, or during earnings we lose this, then our target is to the downside 1062, which can come very quickly. NVIDIA, again, we do have a bearish candle printed. However, if NVIDIA breaks 165 and we hold, it does have a room to 170 and then 172 to the upside of it. However, if we start to lose below 161, I would not mind this little gap to get filled, which is around 159.95 area. And then you also have a tiny bit gap right here as well. So any bounce from the 155 to 156 area, I am bullish to the upside. However, if we start to lose 155, you can probably easily target 150, and that will give you a double bottom on the daily as well. Okay, What else do we want to look at? Tesla is pretty good, actually. I feel like we got our manipulation, and let's see if we can do some distribution, especially if it can break above 318 area, could continue to the upside. I did see some flow come in as well for August. So, but again, they're buying a little bit time on it. However, I would feel comfortable if it can break above 318, which is this is either my 50 or 200, that it needs to move break above and continue to the upside on it. Okay. Anything else? I shared a lot of stocks last week as well, and many of them did very, very well. We made pretty good money on some names. So just make sure that you go back and review those. And thank you for everyone who did message that made money on JVL. Those puts definitely paid. We had a nice rejection at our level, and I know some of you made even 100% on a day trade, and some of you did swings and made over 50%. So that was definitely a good trade, and it did hold our level at 220. So if we do get a manipulation where it do go above 230 to 232 area, would be a nice short one more time from it. However, in between here, I would definitely watch for it to lose 220 and then take the short on it. Okay, now let's look at some of the things that I am watching for this week. Okay, let's look at, this was a request. I really like this chart. So it is EW. I think this one definitely has a potential to continue to the upside of it. Especially, sorry, just looking at my notes. As long as we hold above 76 and 77 area, I think this one definitely has a room to the upside. Let me just quickly look at my note here. Okay. Yeah, as long as we can, hold and break above the 78, and definitely could target $80 to $82 on this name. And then another one is HRL. The weekly looks really good on this as well. Thank you, Benita, for finding this. So let's see if we can break out of this triangle and then look for a call to the upside. I would target first 34 to 35 area and then continue to the upside around $36 to $37 on it. However, I would ideally wait for it to break above 31 and buy some time on it. Don't go with the shorter rates on it. Okay, next is TAP. Like the weekly, we are trying to get out of this downtrend, and falling wedge is looking like it. So any retest of the 48.50 is your entry, and as long as we don't lose 48.50, I'm looking for a room to the upside into the 51 to 53 area up here. That would be a nice swing area, a swing zone as well. Next is DAR. Very nice on the weekly time frame on this one. Loving the retest as well. Nice consolidation here. You got almost 4 weeks worth of time that we've been in this zone now. So if we can break above the 38 and continue, I think especially 39.50 area does have a room to 42 to 45 area to the upside, with if you keep your stop loss at $35. If it starts to lose 35, I would cut it, but I think risk to reward, this name is looking very good. Okay, next one is SYY. And remember, I'm looking at a very large time frame, so please don't be playing short expirations. Make sure you're buying time on it. This is monthly. Again, looks very nice as long as we hold above 75 or even 76 and break out of this downtrend line, and then retest of the 76 area would be ideal. I think if you buy 6 months time on it, this name could pay very well. You could get an easily $10 to $12 move on this, but make sure you are buying time on it. Now let's look at MDJ, another name. So I know a lot of the, the every single day traded names are either at all-time highs or a lot of sideways action. So that's when you start looking at a different sectors that have been either in a downtrend or coming out of it, or have been in a consolidation, especially on the monthly charts. That's how you can find some really good setups. So this one is another one that we've been, like, this is a compression of 4 months. If we can break out of this 69, 70, even 70, just to be safe, and then continue to the upside, I think this name has a potential to make a all-time highs as well. So you can get a easily, $5 to $7 move on it with the $65 as your stop loss. So your risk to reward can be really good, as if it breaks out of it, you can make a pretty decent money on this one as well. Okay, let's look at Target. Many of you have been watching this one as lame. I like that it's breaking out of the monthly downtrend as well. So let's go to daily. I do like how daily we have an inside candle today, on Friday. So as long as we can break above 105 and continue to the upside, this does have a room. Your first take profit can be somewhere in the 113 to 115 zone, and keep your stop loss to be at 100. And if it pulls back, especially with everything that we have coming up in the market, pulls back into the 100 area, I would definitely look for, if it holds, you can go down to your smaller time frames and see if it holds that 100 zone, then the bounce could be very nice, and you can get this $10 to $13 move to the upside. And I would still keep my stop loss pretty tight at 99.50 if you're taking the 100 bounce, just to be on the safe side of it. Okay, what else do I have here? Somebody asked Myra. And again, this is Bitcoins, and Bitcoin's doing pretty well. We do have this tiny gap which we came close to and then got rejected and pulling back. So as long as this name stays above 1887, definitely a room to the upside. More of a day trade than swing at this point, unless you are already in, or if it pulls back to 18 to 1750 zone, then I would look for a swing to the upside on it. GM had some pretty bearish flow on it actually, and where do we do have a tiny bit of a gap. So if this name is struggling to break above 55 to the upside, I would definitely be interested more onto the short side on this name to pull back and look for a short setup. However, if it is breaking above 55, I would be cautious with shorting. Okay, next one is car. Okay, this might have a little bit more room to the upside, that if it breaks out of 193, could see 200, which is our small supply zone as well. However, if is having hard time breaking 193, 192 area to the upside, this could have a decent pullback down to 180 to 175 as well. It's been running for a while, so it might want to cool down all the way. Could get a nice $10 to $15 pullback. Okay. Airbnb. Again, I like this name. I did take a put on it, and my stop loss is gonna be the high of these three candles, which is 138.39. If we start to break above, I will cut and get out. However, I am looking for it to come down all the way to 128 to 125 zone. So, but if it's holding the 130 to 131 area, I wouldn't mind taking some profits here as well. And if you are not in, I would definitely watch. As long as it's losing 135, it has a room at least down to 131 to 130 area. Okay, another name is ANET. Like the setup on this one, the chart looks pretty similar to coin when it broke out from our inverted head and shoulder. So pretty bullish setup and has a nice gap to fill to the upside as well. If we have a pullback and we hold above 105 area, that bounce could be very nice to the upside on this name as well. So would not mind a small pullback to get in to the upside. I am not in this trade yet, but I'm definitely watching this week to see if we can get an ideal entry into it. I'm interested in this one also. Okay. GILD. Okay, nice pullback. Let's see if it starts to lose below 105. Might not be a bad entry for a short to the downside. However, if it holds above 105, could move higher because flow is a bit bullish. So I would definitely watch to see what it does at 105 area. Okay, did I go over pretty much everything from my list? We are hitting about 21 minutes here. Want to stay under 30 minutes. Okay, CVX, this one definitely played out very nicely. Do like, and looks like we filled the gap. So I'm gonna remove this. We do have a gap to the upside to fill as well. As long as we hold above 153.01, I think this one is a go to the upside. 160 is very possible. I think I went over that. Did I miss anything? Let me see if I missed anything else. Okay, I think I answered everyone's questions, went over everything as well. There's one, maybe CRMA. Let me look at CRM. Not CRM. Ooh, pretty bearish. Jeez. Nice drop on this thing. Almost $6 on Friday. Okay, we have a gap to the downside. Oh, I really like this one for a day trade. Could be very nice. If it is selling off, we could see a nice gap fill on this. Yeah, definitely looks very good. Let's look at the weekly as well. Week. Yeah, this could be a nice day trade. Jeez, I need to update this thing. Looks like that demand was taken out a while back. This is taken out. Okay. I like the rejection. I like let's see what the 4 hour is doing. Definitely a pullback on it. And we got some sort of a double bottom happening here. However, if it is losing 255, this could be an easy day trade on a couple dollars to the downside and fill the gap as well. So do like CRM as well. Futu paid us, ULA paid. Key dropped, we took the puts. These ones were up almost 40%. Anything else? Let's look at Unity. Did a nice move as well. This was part of my last week's video. Moved very nice from almost $26 to we hit the high of $4. That's a good move for a Unity. Anything else? Do we want to go over Snow? Okay, very nice. A drop on this name as well, and we lost the 220. We're down to 210. Fill that gap. This one could continue to the downside and fill this gap as well, especially if we are going to be losing the 210 tomorrow. I would definitely watch this one for a day trade to the downside. Uber had a nice accumulation happening as well. We did break out here, so I'm gonna delete this for now. I'm still looking for some pullback on this name before it continues to the upside. So we'll see. It did reject what was the high of it, 97.72. If we can have a pullback somewhere into the 95 and 90 area, then move to the upside. I do like this one. Okay, I think this is it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, this is not a financial advice. I'm just sharing what I'm watching. And if you guys do like, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know if these have been helping you, and so I can continue making more videos. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the group.